Let's tear this thing apart. All right, friends, so the pallet is a very useful thing to be able to tear apart and use this lumber. A lot of the lumber in these pallets, super useful if we can get it apart in one piece and not have it just shred as we're taking it apart. So there are a couple different ways we can take pallets apart. There's a couple different ways I've used in the past. One of the most successful ways, though, is with a tool that I've made. All right, this tool is just a tool that I welded up from some scrap steel, I think, I don't know, a couple years ago, but I call it like my pallet fork because it can take apart pallets really easy. Now, it essentially does the same thing that a pry bar does, but where the pry bar fails, see how it kind of just broke that board there? My pallet fork will get underneath the whole thing and support both sides the full length of the board. So this tool, this pallet fork that I made many years ago, it's a very handy tool for taking apart pallets and for keeping the boards in one piece and not splitting apart. But let's go ahead and let's look at the different ways we can take apart a pallet. So number one, my favorite, is with my pallet fork. I can get in here, pry it up, put my leverage on it, and most of the board stays together when I use my pallet fork. You just gotta pound those nails out, and then you got a actual usable board you can do something with that's not split. The next way is just with a pry bar. Like I said, pry bars are good, but man, sometimes they just splinter that board. Get under here, work it a little bit at a time and split. Have to work gently if you want to save the board. Now, if you don't care about saving it, if you're just taking it apart to burn it, who cares? But if you want to use these boards, and there's so many projects you can make from pallet boards, so it's nice to save them. So if you're using a pry bar, if that's all you have, just go gently, try to work from both sides. Try to save as much of that board as you can. So save most of the board. Just a little split up from there, not bad. So, pallet fork, pry bar. The next way is one I don't use very often. It's with the hammer and the cat's paw. You can get in here with a cat's paw and pull all the nails out. It takes a while. It takes a lot longer, but it's doable. Yeah, and that's the biggest problem I see with the cat's paw method is these nails are not the highest quality. Why would they be? All they have to do is hold the boards together on a pallet. Most of the weight's down on a pallet. But a lot of times instead of pulling the nail out, you'll strip the head off. That's why I really like my pallet fork, because it just pulls everything out. And then you can pound the nails back through the board, and you can actually save the nails and save the board. So I would highly recommend building one of these for yourself if you're into taking pallets apart. Now, one final way I found to take pallets apart is just to cut them up. You get a circular saw and you run your saw along the edge of the board along the edge of the stringers on the boards, but then that leaves you only chunks of little boards. Now, I actually kind of like that in certain regards. I use pallet boards a lot to train my middle schoolers on how to use a saw. And so we're not making projects in that regard, we're just cutting lumber. And so here it really doesn't matter if I have a 1 foot chunk or a 3 foot chunk. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut a bunch real quick. They're also easier to store that way because I don't have a 3 foot piece. I just have a bunch of 1 foot pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so folks, so when you're using the circular saw, you can cut little chunks and end up with some nice pieces that are not split and that also are nice and short that store really easily. The downfall is they are short. You don't have the nice long boards that you do with other methods of taking pallets apart. So you can see I just cut these and I forgot to hit record on the video, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut some again. All right, folks, so that's how I take apart pallets. Pallets are very, very useful. I use them quite often in the shop and in other projects also. So when you're taking things apart, think about what you want to do with that lumber, and that will kind of dictate how you're going to take it apart to be successful in gaining those pieces that you're looking for. Make sure to work hard, folks, because hard work is its own reward. And thanks for watching.